Hey guys, thank you so much. It's another Thursday. No, Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. I'm so excited. I'm doing Moments of Clarities on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so sometimes my days get thrown off. But it's another Tuesday. And I'm here. I'm excited to be here. And so thank you for coming in and being a part of this Moments of Clarity. I have my boy, my brother from another mother, Mr. Jermaine Jackson. And this is not the Jermaine Jackson that you may be thinking about. Someone said earlier that I was bringing a celebrity on. Well, he sort of kind of is a celebrity. He's doing this to Thizzle. I'm so proud of this guy. He's an amazing guy. He's a great, amazing motivator. He's amazing creative. I would call him a creative too. So I'm excited to have him here. And so when I come back, we're going to be chopping up with my boy, Jermaine Jackson, on this episode of Moments of Clarity. Let's go. Hey man, I'm so excited. We got Jermaine Jackson in the building.
What up, man?
What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
Phenomenal, man. I'm living a dream. How are you?
And you are living that dream, bro. I so appreciate you for taking time out of your Tuesday to be a part of Moments of Clarity, man. You're doing a lot of great things in the community. Just doing a lot of great things, period. We're gonna dive into some of that stuff today. So Jermaine Jackson, let's chop up, man. So we haven't actually physically seen each other. Like, man, it's been like a year or so.
It's been some time, brother. It's been some time.
It's been some time, so there's a lot that's changed in your life. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about some of those changes. You have some new additions to your family and all that cool stuff as well.
Yes, we definitely have some new additions. My wife gave birth to twins.
Hey,
Yes, man. So that has just been a journey. One, just my wife being pregnant. You got all the quarantine stuff going on. The time that she spent in the hospital, our boys were extremely premature. So my wife was in the hospital for 6 weeks before she even gave birth. And with it being quarantine, we couldn't go to the hospital. We couldn't see her. So she was just there by herself for the most part. And then once she did give birth, they were born at 24 weeks, 23 weeks, somewhere in there. So our twins were actually in the hospital for about 2.5, almost 3 months before they even came home. So just that whole journey was crazy, going through the whole quarantine and having, babies in the hospital and wife in the hospital. But overall, like, they're home and they're healthy and they're growing, man. They're at 11 and 12 pounds now. They were born at like a pound. So they're doing phenomenal. Now I got two other boys. I got Noah, he's 6. So we're going through the whole like distance learning, being home at home, doing school. And then I have a 1-year-old. I have Mason.
hey.
And Mason, he is our Tasmanian boy. That boy's all over the house. So for anybody doing the math and looking up those numbers, yes, that's 4 boys. The crazy thing is my wife and I went from 1 child, 1 boy, to 4 boys in less than 1 year.
Wow.
That's crazy, right? So my wife gave birth to our twins 5 days before our 1-year-old turned 1. So you can just imagine the craziness that happens right here in my very own home.
Man, that is really, really cool, man. So big ups to Ashley, man, for holding it down and carrying all those boys, man. So shout out Ashley. God bless you.
Man. She wanted a girl, man. She wanted a girl so bad. But the Lord told her she needed to raise boys. So she got 4 of them.
Them boys coming through, man. I love it.
Yeah. So we got Noah, Mason, Caden, and Carter.
That is so cool, man. So Jermaine, you do a lot of dope things just in reality, man. You're a great communicator, and I think that's a superpower that you have. You're an effective communicator. You're great at what you do. So your company is called Develop Now. So tell me more about Develop Now, what it is and what it does in the community.
Yeah, so Develop Now, my wife and I started Develop Now 5 years ago. So this was our 5th year in business. I've always heard a company that can make it 5 years, you're doing all right. So this was a big year for us going into our 5th year. And basically, majority of what we did, I would say 90% of what we did, is we had contracts with school districts. So we worked a lot with Fresno Unified. And through that, we provided services to different schools, provided social emotional support, trauma support. And then we did trainings for teachers. We did one-on-one for students, small groups for students. And then we would also go onto campus and really just take over the classroom for an hour and teach lessons. So my wife and I created a curriculum that's all centered around teaching students about their brain, right? So what's going on in your brain when you're upset and when you're angry, and what is flight, or freeze? What does that look like? What's going on with your hippocampus and your amygdala and your frontal lobe, all these different parts of your brain. What's going on in your brain when your anxiety is high, your tension is high, you're just stressed out? And then how then do you gain access to what we call your best state of mind? Because that's the position where you can problem solve, right? Where you can make good decisions. You can just be a better student or a teacher. You can be a better teacher, a better mom, a better dad, a better athlete. You can just all around be a better person when you can access your best state of mind. So that's what development is all about, is helping people access their best state of mind.
Man, I think that's phenomenal, bro. And so you do this for students, but I'm sure you have to be pulled into doing some workshop with teachers too, right?
Yeah, so we do. If I was on a campus working with the students, I usually did monthly trainings for teachers also.
That's dope.
One-on-one coaching. There's a lot of teachers that came to me outside of the school for one-on-one coaching, whether it was one-on-one coaching with them just so they can get a better grip on their own anxiety and their own stresses, or if it was actually working with their families, there may have been tension within their home or within their family. So then we would come in what I call family dynamic coaching. And what that is really just coming into a family and helping mom and dad get along better with son or daughter or stepmom and stepson or whoever in the family is not really getting along at that time, helping everyone kind of recognize their tension and their stress and their anxiety, showing everyone how to kind of deal with that separately, and then how then they can help each other grow and develop and just be better.
Man, anxiety is a real thing, man. That I think in a lot of ways people were playing it down a little bit, and uh, but it's really real.
It is.
It's real, and I believe all of us have a bit of it, and I think we all have
Mhm.
to try to manage those levels of anxiety spikes that we all have.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so again, that we can all become the best version of us as possible. So that's great, man, that you get the opportunity to do that with students,
Mhm.
because they're trying to figure it all out. You know what I'm saying? So that's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
place to start.
No, yes, it's been a blessing. Like I said, it's we're going into our 5th year. This is going to be our biggest, baddest, best year ever. And it
Absolutely.
still has. We've been able to still do a lot. We just have really pivoted. I'm still doing some work with the schools, but not obviously as much as we were. I now kind of pivoted and doing a lot more work with different corporations. There's different businesses providing some of those same trainings, but now to corporations, really helping individuals that are stuck at home but still need to work and they're stressed out and they have kids at home that are causing more anxiety and more stress. So really just across the board helping them deal with that stress and that anxiety. So then it actually will help increase their production at work, increase their performance at work. So once we can get a hold of those things, we've really been able to show individuals performance go up at work because they've gotten a hold of their anxiety and their stress.
That's good, man. And so I
Mhm.
think one way that you definitely, begin to start managing your anxiety is to identify what your triggers are.
Yep.
And we all have triggers. And so I think once we begin to identify what those triggers are, then we should be pausing and stop and be like, oh, okay. So that got me really, really upset. The other question, the second question we should ask ourselves is why? When
Yeah.
we start asking ourselves the right questions as to why things rub us, why things move us to certain levels of frustration and heightened anxiety, then we'll start getting some answers, and we'll start getting some answers, and obviously overall becoming a better person for everybody that's around us.
Yep.
um,
Yep.
something I say a lot, and I think that you could probably add more to this statement. I always tell people that the world don't change without you individually.
Mhm.
And so the world, it's evolving or revolving around this axis, but it's not really changing unless each one of us individually make personal change. And
Right.
as we begin to make personal change, then we can obviously affect our social systems, but then also ultimately our community, our family, and then ultimately the world. That's the way it works. It don't work the other way around.
No,
You change you, and then you change the world.
yeah, no, and I think that's huge. A lot of people obviously want to affect change in their community or in the world or even in their home, but yet they're not willing to even just change the little things about themselves. And then people get so worked up and they have so much anxiety, not being able to control everything, right? Control over all these different things that's going on, but yet you have no control over yourself. So let's just start there first, right? Let's get control over ourselves. Let's get control over our own emotion. Let's get control over our own outbursts, our own anxiety. Once we can take control of some of that stuff, focus on us first, then we can start to help and change our community and our home and then the world. So, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, that's real as ever, man. I think that's a problem just with the world in general. I think we people are focused on changing everything, or trying to, or making great attempts to change everything but themselves. And the reality is, just a word of wisdom: the world don't change without you individually. So there
Yeah,
are some things that you have to do to become better. You do have to challenge you got to check your triggers, challenge your triggers.
yeah.
But watch this: even challenging your ideals, because it's
Mhm.
very possible that you can be thinking a certain way about a thing and it be completely wrong. So
Yeah.
you do have to challenge your ideals all the time. That's all
Mhm.
about. That's all the. That's all about being a progressive individual.
No, I
You're
like that.
constantly changing your ideals.
Yeah.
Um, you either gonna be progressive or you're gonna be a dinosaur.
Yeah, that is very true. No, that's very true. That's all
So
good stuff,
so
man.
speak to some of that. Speak to Jermaine, the importance of checking yourself or checking in on yourself. Because
Yeah,
most people, we like to check in on other people, but we don't check in on ourselves, and that's most important.
no, it actually, yeah, it really is. So we have what I call is the four-step thinking sequence, right? So there's these four steps in how I train everyone that I coach, how I've been trained as a life coach. And the four steps, really the first step is you just being able to notice your body, right? You've been able to notice yourself. You've been able to notice when your anxiety is high or when your tension is high. And your body will always try to warn you, right? Your body will always try to warn you whether it's a headache, right? People get headaches when they have a lot of anxiety or they get stressed out, or they get this shoulder pain, this neck pain, or they get sweaty palms, or they feel it in their stomach, or they feel it in their chest. We get these feelings, and that's our body responding to our stress and our tension. And many times we ignore it. Right, we just ignore it and we push it to the side and we continue to go. And what ends up happening is, before you know it, we are blowing up on somebody. We're yelling, we're screaming. Our emotions are so high, and we're saying stuff that we regret. We're saying stuff that we normally wouldn't say if we were able to just take a step back and notice our bodies and just notice how we're responding. And then after we really are able to notice, man, I've noticed that when my anxiety gets high, I start to get a headache, or I feel it in my eyes. Once you then notice that, then the very next step is then for you to be able to ask yourself the question: what is the outcome of this picture if I stay this upset? What is the outcome of this picture if I stay this angry, if I have this much anxiety? What is the outcome of this picture if I stay this way for the next 20 minutes, 45 minutes? What does that look like? And if you don't like what the outcome of that picture looks like, then we have to do something different. We have to make a change in that moment, right? And a lot of the start of that is just remembering to breathe. Breathing is so important. And what I think a lot of people don't know or realize, at times our anxiety gets so high, our stress gets so high, we actually stop breathing. Our breathing slows down completely. And once that happens, you lose access to what's called your frontal lobe, your frontal cortex, right? This front part of your brain where you do all of your good thinking, all of your problem solving comes from your front part of your brain. But that's also the first part that starts to shut down when anxiety is too high or when stress is too high. So then for you to be able to ask yourself the question: what is the outcome of that picture? What does that look like? And we all know what we look like when we're upset. We know what we look like when we're stressed out and we're going off on everybody around us. We know what that looks like. So then asking yourself what that looks like. If you don't like what that picture looks like, remembering to breathe. And then we have to find a place of acceptance in whatever it is we're going through. And acceptance doesn't mean you like it, right? Acceptance doesn't mean you agree with it. You can absolutely hate what's going on, hate what's getting ready to happen. Acceptance means this is happening, this is going to happen, or this has already happened. That's what acceptance looks like. Acceptance looks like this is going to happen. No matter how upset I get, no matter how much I yell, no matter how much I scream, this is happening. This is going to happen, or this has already happened. Finding acceptance. And then asking yourself the question again: what is the outcome of this picture if I can find acceptance? Because usually what happens, once you can find acceptance, your brain will then start to move oxygen and blood back to the front part of your brain. You'll start to breathe more, and now you're thinking a whole lot clearer, and now you've got access to your best state of mind, and you're going to make a much better choice moving forward once you can find acceptance, take some really deep breaths, and then take a step back. That makes sense?
Man, listen, that's phenomenal. I love all of that. I hope you guys were taking notes. And if you weren't, please just go back and watch this. It's so much great stuff he just said. It is so important that we learn what to. I call it I love what you just said, Jermaine. I say the same thing, but I sort of kind of break it down a little quicker, where I say the lean in and lean out. or lean in or lean back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in those moments where we experience high anxiety, I think that's phenomenal what you said. The important thing to start to do first is to start breathing,
Mm-hmm.
because as you bring oxygen in, it does clear your head up and clear your mind, so
Yep.
that you can make a better decision. But the lean in, lean out idea is when situations come and they push our anxiety up, we have an option in those moments. I tell people all the time that every given moment that we're given, there's a principle at stake, right? Every moment there's a principle. And so when we're in a moment where someone is pushing our anxiety all the way up to where we know it shouldn't be, we have that's a moment. And so we have to one, breathe, and then make a conscious decision in the moment whether I'm going to lean into this or I'm going to lean back and let that negative energy pass me by. And so I encourage people in those moments, hey, lean back, especially if it's pushed you somewhere you don't want to go. Let that negative energy pass by, and then lean into more positivity.
Yep.
And when the situation is a little bit more palatable,
Yeah. Right.
we're in a place where you're like, okay, I can respond to this a little bit better. Yeah, so it's definitely important that you breathe first, but then you have to make a conscious decision in that moment, and that's for every moment. You decide what you lean into and what you lean out of.
No,
And as you
understood.
lean out or lean back, let that negative stuff go away. Let it go on by. Go ahead. And
Yeah.
then when the space is clear, come back in and lean back into life a little bit better when you're in a better headspace. That's just real. So, Jermaine Jackson, man, that was phenomenal. So thank you so much for sharing that. Um, that
That's
is great.
good stuff. Yeah, I'll add another piece to it, just so people can kind of process it and understand a little more where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Um, so we think in pictures faster than we do anything in the world, right? Faster than you can read, write, run. The fastest thing you can do in the world is create a picture in your mind. So the idea behind this is really being able to process situations faster by asking yourself, what is the outcome of this picture look like, with acceptance or without acceptance? And you're able to do this very quickly, because I'm a huge believer in language shapes behavior and behavior shapes culture. Right? Language shapes behavior and behavior shapes culture. So if you understand the language of the clear thinking method, right? This is what I do with all my coaching clients. I'm first teaching them the language in our coaching session. So now they're able to then go out in life and they understand the language. So that language then is going to be able to help shape their behavior, which is then going to build their culture. So if they're asking themselves the right questions, when I first notice that tension, I understand the language. So I'm asking myself, what is the outcome of this if I stay upset? And if you're at work, process that outcome. You blowing up on your boss or on a client or on a customer, like what does that outcome look like? Right? You just got off work. You're getting ready to walk in the house. You're stressed out. You had a long day. What is the outcome of that? You walk in the house and all your son or daughter wants to do is give mommy or daddy a hug, but you're stressed out, so you blow up on them or you blow up on your spouse. What does the outcome of that picture look like? Your night is not going to end well. Everyone's going to be upset or angry. You can process that in a millisecond, be able to breathe, take a step back, right? And just come to a place of acceptance of, I had a long day, right? I had a long day. Let's just accept that. But there are people on the other side of this door that love me in my home. My kids love me. My spouse loves me. So I need to go in the house, not taking all the baggage from work, all the stress from work, but I need to go into the house. I need to be present in that moment, whether it's home or you're at the office and it's a long, long day. You lost a big deal, or whatever the case may be. You have to be able to process, what does this look like if I let it consume me, if I let it take over me, or what is the outcome if I rise above it and I show strength? What does it look like? Be able to process that really quickly, and that only comes from understanding the language. And that's what I do within my coaching sessions, is teaching individuals the language so then they can process this stuff years down the road without a coach, right? They understand the language, and they've rewired their brain, right? There's been scientific proven, there's data that show you can rewire your brain to respond differently, right? So you're 40 years old, 50 years old, and this one thing has always triggered you to act or react in a certain way, but now we've rewired your brain. You've had great coaching over the last 6 weeks, and now you're able to respond to things differently, and your outcomes now are different.
Right.
relationships, in work, in business, whatever the case may be.
That's good, man. I love what you said earlier too about listening to your body.
Mhm.
Your body is smart. It's naturally God designed it that way, and so when your body is triggering or responding to something negatively outside of it, and those pressure points start getting up, though those are indicators. Those are indicators for you to make some better decisions. So in these moments, we've got to train our brain to, like what Jermaine said, be able to make some real time better decisions in these moments, so that obviously we can the situation, the outcome is better, obviously, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, that's really really dope. So Jermaine, you are also, so through Develop Now, you've worked in school districts, you work with teachers,
Mhm.
educators, but talk to me a bit about how this is actually even transition to more of corporate, and why that's even important.
Right. So that's always been a part of what I wanted to do, outside of working with the schools, is really get into the corporate world, work more with businesses and companies and management teams and CEOs, because really understanding like the way we lead people as a manager of an organization or an owner of a business, the way you lead your employees, a lot of times is a direct effect of your own trauma and your own anxiety and your own stress. So really helping people
Big
um,
facts.
understand their own stress and things allows them to then just lead people better, lead their teams better. So that's where it's been really great in the corporate market, being able to help people realize their own stress and anxiety, so that they can be better, within the workplace, lower their stress and anxiety, and then like say salespeople really seeing their sales go up once they can learn how to address their own anxiety and their own stress. They're now accessing their best state of mind as they're
Hmm.
quoting every deal. They're now accessing their best state of mind when a problem arises. They're now able to notice their body, notice their body when their body is saying you're overworked, you're overwhelmed. This situation is getting this moment is getting too heavy. You're able to quickly notice that, access the correct the picture of what it looks like, and then you're able to now make a much better decision moving forward as a businessman, as a businesswoman, in the workplace. You're able just to be better. So that's where we found, and then really being able to just focus on like communication, like how you communicate with other people. A lot of times you might not want it to sound the way it's coming out. And you may say you're okay and you're having a good day, but your face says something completely different. So really being able to help people just understand themselves. It all goes back to you first, being able to understand you and being able to respond to you first. And then from that, then you can become just a better all around person.
Yep, that's real talk. I want to shout out my boy Dan Odafe. What's up, brother?
Outstanding.
What's up, man?
Mr. Yeah.
Love Dan, man. That is dope, man. I think that's great. I think that we need more life coaching in the corporate space.
Mhm.
Because I think what you said is so correct. I don't think CEOs even realize how much their personal trauma bleeds into their profession.
Yep. Yep.
And that's for all of us. That's for all of us. If we don't deal with our personal trauma, and I always tell people this because it's real and it's factual, it's actual and factual. I sound like TLC. It's actual and factual, whatever. But either way, what we don't realize is that when we don't deal with our personal trauma, it does bleed over into every part of our life. It bleeds off into our work or bleeds off into our personal life. And so the trauma in our lives, and this is what I always try to talk to my clients about, the trauma in your life may not be your fault. In other words, you didn't cause the trauma in your life. However,
Mhm.
it's your responsibility to heal it. It is
Yeah.
your responsibility to deal with it. It's your responsibility to check it. Most people don't realize that disease is two words. It's dis is ease, or it's when your mind or your body is not at ease. And so
Mhm.
when your body's not at ease, it causes disease in your body. So everything that Jermaine is saying today is spot on. You do have to listen to your body. Your body is those triggers is trying to tell you, hey, you need to check that. This is going
Right.
to cause problem in the future. You need to check this. You need to check this behavior. You need to check this attitude.
Yep.
There's a song that came out in the 90s. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself.
Yep. Yep.
And we all have to do that. And so we're saying this as life coaches because this is something that we all have to do. This is not it's not a pointing the finger at you. This is something that we all have to do. Is check in on ourselves and make sure that we good. We have to check our emotions and check our ish to make sure we're still in a good place. So, Jermaine, talk to the audience about the importance of dealing with our mental health. I think that's sort of kind of a taboo subject. It sort of kind of became a popular over the last like 5 to 10 years. But how is it? How and why is it so important to take care of your mental health?
Man, I mean, I think it's huge when you look at some of the most successful people in the world. They have a life coach. They have a life coach, and some people that have found themselves in dark areas or bad places in their lives. There's a handful of people that reach out for more help, whether it's a counselor or it's a therapist. And very rarely have I ever met or talked with someone that was in a dark place or a bad place, and they seen a therapist and they said it was the worst choice I've ever made. That's never really the outcome. We cannot do life alone. We weren't designed to do life alone, right? So when things get difficult, you're not the only one that's going through something difficult, right? Other people have gone through difficult times too. Other people have things that have happened to them. So stop trying to do it by yourself. Reach out to someone and get help. Get the help you need. And sometimes that help is just being able to talk to someone, right? Sometimes that help is you just being able to open up, talk about what's going on, and talk about it to the right person, right? Talk about it to someone that knows how to respond to what you're saying. Because you can talk to some people and they're just throwing fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
You talk to some people and they're just making it worse.
Absolutely.
And they are just waiting for you to say something negative so they can say something even more negative. Or you say something that hurts you, they want to say something that hurt them even more, right? That's not the person I'm telling you to talk to. I'm telling you to find someone that has some training, right? And not training in talking, but training in listening.
Yeah.
Listening is a skill. Being able to listen to someone. And sometimes the right listener knows when it's time to respond, when it's time to fix, or when it's time to just listen.
Yep.
Right? There's sometimes we have people in our lives and we're telling them what's going on, and they're not listening, they're fixing. And all that's doing is making it worse for you. They're not really understanding what you're saying. So what you need is someone in your life, whether you find a life coach, whether it's a pastor, whether you find a therapist or find someone that understands how to listen, not fix or respond. Get someone that can listen to you. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, bro. It makes perfect sense. And you do have to find people in your life. And again, if you don't have the people immediately around you, hey man, it is important that you connect with someone that can help you heal. Because again, the trauma that's in us is gonna come out one way or the other. It's gonna come out, and so it's an implosion that turns into an explosion if we don't challenge it and deal with it and become better, so that things that would trigger us previously don't. It doesn't trigger us anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it still makes you. I mean, it's almost like forgiving and forgetting. You know what I'm saying? So you forgive a person, but you don't necessarily forget. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to end up in that same situation again. So I forgave you and I love you forever, but I got my eye on you because.
Yeah, I got my eye on you.
Got my eye on you. I got my eye on you because that I don't want that cray to be plaguing my life anymore. So that this is all great stuff, bro. So I appreciate you one for being just who you are. Another question I wanted to ask you too, bro, is let's talk to me about, and every life coach that I have on this platform, I always ask them this question because I do know that being a life coach, there are certain levels of things that we have to overcome in order for for us to be as fluential as empowering to people. So tell me about a personal challenge that you had to overcome as an individual that's helped you to become a more effective life coach.
No, that's good. That's a really good question. For me, I had to really believe in life coaching, right? I believed in it for everybody else, but I had to get a life coach. Like I had to the same practice what you preach, right? When life coaching really became real to me is actually when I invested and got a life coach for myself, right? Still to this day, I have a life coach, right, in my life that I talk to on a weekly basis because it's important. It's very important. Like I said before, we cannot do life alone. And yes, I have an amazing wife that I can talk to about anything. And I have amazing parents and I have amazing friends and I have all these people in my life, right, that I can talk to about different things that I go through in my life. But it just hits different when you have a life coach, like I said earlier, that's trained to listen well, right? And that's trained to fix when things needs to be fixed, give advice when he needs to give advice, and then just shut their mouth and listen when they need to listen. So really just having that person, that's really when it became more real to me, is when I actively have a life coach in my life. That's what made it real. And really that's what helps me as a coach become better. That's what helps me as a coach because I have to decompress. I have crazy things. Like I said, we got 4 boys in less than a year. We're going through the same coronavirus everybody else is going through. The air is bad. I'm breathing the same bad air that everybody else is breathing, right? There are challenges, no matter who you are, that you go through. It just is, right? So you have to not do life alone. You have to be able to actually practice what it is you're preaching, what it is you're telling other people. And it was once I really understood that is really when my life started to excel personally, and I started to excel as a life coach.
That's right. That's real, man. That's real. We do have to. I think it's very, very important that we get people in our lives that help us to deal with our personal trauma too. We again, like you said, man, having clients, it can be overwhelming because you're taking on everybody else's stuff, and you have to manage yours as well. So having a life coach is very, very important to this entire process.
Yeah, and then
very much so.
Again, it all comes full circle because so I have a life coach, right? But my life coach, it goes back to the 4-step thinking sequence, right? So I'm thinking I mentioned that's called the Clear Thinking Alliance, right? So the Clear Thinking Alliance is located here in Fresno. They're off 101st. So it's a counseling center, a counseling office. So the Clear Thinking Alliance goes back to the 4-step thinking sequence that I mentioned earlier. Notice, look, notice. My life coach is also someone that coaches in that area. Uses those same methods, and it goes back to language shapes behavior and behavior shapes emotion, right? Understanding the language shapes then my behavior, whether my behavior when I'm coaching, my behavior in the relationship with my wife, with my kids, with my parents, in the community. Understanding, I'm always going back to what does the outcome of that look like? Noticing my own tension, my own stress before I'm going to speak, before I'm going to coach somebody that has just went through something traumatic. Me always going back to exactly what I'm coaching and what I'm teaching, being able to notice my own tension, notice my own body. What does the outcome of this look like if I stay here? If I stay here in this anxiety and this tension and this stress, I know I'm not going to be the best version of Jermaine Jackson. Yeah, for me to be able to perform at the highest level, be the best coach, be the best husband, be the best father, I have to have access to my best state of mind. And I only do that when I really can be self-aware and I really can understand, man, you're overwhelmed. Your anxiety is getting high. This situation is making you upset. It's making you angry. How is your body responding? What is the outcome if you stay here? Really just being able to notice those things and then being able to respond from there.
That's real as ever, man. Man, we're saying a lot of the same things, and we're saying a lot of things on repeat. And I think that is phenomenal for people to catch,
Mhm.
because you do have to listen to you. You do have to listen to your body. Your body is loud as ever. It really is. It's loud.
Mhm.
It's loud,
Yeah.
and it's just if you're listening to it, it will. It's clear. It's loud and clear actually. And
Mhm.
so when you are in spaces where again where you can where you see your triggers coming to the surface, yeah, you have to pull back and again make some decisions. The first step, obviously, is to breathe,
Mhm.
and and then that way you can process the situation a bit better before you respond with a hot head. Uh,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of times that's easier said than done, considering the environment that you live in, because all of us are raised in a bubble. I like to say it this way, Jermaine. All of us were raised in a bubble.
Mhm.
We were nurtured in our parents in our mother's womb rather in a bubble,
Mhm.
and then that bubble popped, and then we came to the earth, and just to get into another bubble that we were raised in, and that's real rap. And what we have to do as individuals is we have to burst that bubble.
Mhm.
And that obviously helps us because, like, I grew up. My dad was a natural hothead. My
Mhm.
mom was a hothead, so it just inherently came to me to be a hothead. I
Right.
had to change and challenge my ideals if I wanted to make sure that I was going to be the best version of me possible. I had to make
Right.
sure that I challenged and checked my triggers. Like, why are you so upset? Why is this making you this upset? Why is that doing that? And as I'm telling you, as you begin to challenge yourself and ask yourself all the right questions, then you're ready to get the information that you're looking for. But
Right.
if you don't ask yourself the right questions, then yeah, good luck. So you do have to constantly challenge yourself. Pop that bubble. Challenge your ideals. Check on yourself. Check on your traumas. Your trauma again is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal, and
Yeah.
it's your responsibility. So Jermaine, so you're working in corporate America, you're helping businesses with their so when you're working with corporations, are you dealing with them on a corporate level as it relates to how they interact in the workspace, or does it get personal too? Because I get it is all personal, but then people put on their professional face when they come to work.
Yeah. Both. It really just depends on what. It really just depends on what the company is wanting. But if a company is bringing me in, it really starts right there on that professional level, and we're doing a training on whatever they call me in, whether it's communication, whether it's what I've been doing. What I've done lately is a lot of conflict resolution,
That's good.
which really is just coming from there's just so much built up in so many in individuals, and there's actually some offices now that are starting to open back up, and people are starting to come back to the office, and there's just a lot of built up anxiety, a lot of built up tension, or people are home and they're working remotely, and you get on these Zoom calls, and the tension and the anxiety and the stress is just kills the whole Zoom call. I'm not even able to be productive. So a lot of conflict resolution lately, but it usually most times, more times than not, because I always leave, of course, all of my information. I'll get an email, a personal email from someone asking for one-on-one coaching, or asking, "Hey, I have a 16-year-old son. He locks himself in his room. I feel he's super depressed. He can't see his friends." There's all of those things. So it may start out as like corporate. You have your business face on, and we're training on a few different topics, but then people always reach out to me for one-on-one personal coaching after, because no matter what I'm training or coaching, it all goes back to the clear thinking. It all goes
Yep.
back to the 4 steps. Like, that's where it starts, whether it's leadership, communication, conflict resolution, sales, whatever we're training, it always goes back to that. So it may start corporate and business and professional, but there's many times I get emails for individuals saying, "Hey, do you do one-on-one coaching? Hey, can you meet with my son?" Or, "Hey, I want to save my marriage, or we're on the verge of divorce. Can you help?" So just I always get those emails or phone calls.
And I think that's good, man. I think that that sets you up in a good place, man. Because obviously, in a lot of these companies, there, I love that you could just go into any company and deal with conflict resolution, and that's hands down sort of kind of where it is, because people, and I think society sort of kind of is dealing with that same thing, like how to handle conflict. We need to learn how to communicate better to each other, and how
Mhm.
do we, how do we talk? How do we be objective but still be respected? So I think that conflict resolution across the board is a national challenge in our and just in our social systems and everything else that we just got to get better at, how to agree to disagree with someone. That it's okay to disagree with somebody, and just because you disagree with them, it doesn't make them your enemy.
Right. Yeah. And training requests are just getting different, you know. Like I got a training request a few weeks ago, and of course it's like the training request is coping with the quarantine and holiday season coming up. Like, can you help my employees cope with that? I got a request on a training to help people, single people, cope with being single and working at home, right? Because
Uh,
you're home, you don't have anybody at home with you. You can imagine how people can start to go crazy, right? If your only interaction was going to the office because you didn't have a spouse or a girlfriend at home, now you're just home by yourself, you and little Fido. You got your little dog at home, but yet you're going crazy, right? Because there's no human interaction. So like requests like that are coming through, which I applaud the owner of that company. I applaud that manager for really taking the time to care that much, right, about their employees, to care that much about their people, to say, hey, I'm going to put the money out. I'm gonna sponsor this. I'm gonna fund this because I care about my employees and I don't want
that's
them
right.
at home stressed and depressed, and I don't want them, So I applaud the business owners. I applaud the managers that are going above and beyond and providing life coaching services for their employees. It makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference.
It's just the right thing to do. I think for any organization to have a human resource director. Think about that title, human resource. That means
Right.
human. That means the human being that work for you is the resource. That's the
Mhm.
resource that you invest in with a salary. You invest in with benefits.
Mhm.
Uh, but you have to invest in their mental health too, and their ability to function and do well for your organization.
Well, yeah,
So yeah, I definitely, I'm with you. I definitely applaud that effort. I want to encourage those of you that may be HR managers. Hey, partner with a life coach. And there's probably not a better one out there like Jermaine Jackson. He's right here, right there. Look at it. There you go. Wave.
hey,
Yeah, there you go. Right? Yeah, connect with Jermaine Jackson and let him help you with your team. Help. His organization is called Develop Now for a reason, and these are areas obviously where all of us can use some development at. So definitely, check out his website and find out more information about what he does. In the corporate arena, because it definitely be beneficial to your staff. Jermaine, man, you the bomb.com, bro.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
Appreciate
this is
you
great.
about you, man. I think you're doing what you got going here is great. Your show's amazing. You've had phenomenal people on the show, man. What you're doing is huge, man. I really appreciate you inviting me on here.
Yeah, man, it's all good. So I do have amazing people on my show, and you are one of them.
Man,
So,
I
yeah,
appreciate it.
bro, I
Well,
really, I
I,
really do appreciate you.
I hope in all this time, I know you still extremely busy, man. But I hope once everything opens back up, you got another show you written so we can go and sit back and laugh, man. Your shows are always funny, man. I hope you got
Dude,
something else in the pipeline.
I have lots of them. So it's
Okay,
not just show. It's
okay.
shows. And it's going down. It's going down.
Do it, man. Do it, man.
It's going down.
I
I
want to
so
buy my
I
tickets
so appreciate
first.
you. Huh?
Said I want to buy my tickets first, man. I want to be the first one there.
That's real, man. Them shows be off the chain, man.
Yeah.
Let me say this to you. So I want you to encourage someone that may aspire to be a life coach. What would you encourage them? How would you encourage them to start? what's a good place to start if you again have aspirations or desires to be a life coach? So this is what you do. So inspire somebody.
Yeah. So let's start with me first, right? It goes back to I was told by a life coach, a mentor of mine, find what you love to do and do it well enough. Somebody will pay you to do it. Find what you love to do and do it well enough. Someone will pay you to do it. And for a long time, I did a lot, right? I worked at different places. I started different companies because I really didn't know what I loved or what I wanted. But what I did know is I love to talk and I love to help people. So I said, how can I get really good at talking? How can I get really good at helping people that I would actually, get paid to do that? So if you inspire to be a life coach and you inspire to help people or motivate people, or you just inspire to do whatever it is your dream is, do what you love. Do what makes you happy, right? But you got to go all in. And for some of us, a lot of us, you might not know what that is. So you have to get out and do stuff, right? I think the biggest problem is we just don't do enough. We need to go out and we need to do stuff, but we need to go all in, right? We need to give everything we got to the different things that we're doing. That's the only way you're really going to find out if this is where you're supposed to be, if this is what you like, if this is what you love. And then you have to invest time and you have to invest money. You have to invest in yourself, right? And I'm not just talking about a new pair of Jordans. I'm not just talking about investing in a new outfit or a new hairdo. Like, you have to invest in your time to grow. So invest, find somewhere to invest in, to see yourself grow, to help you grow. Invest the time and the energy and the finances. That's the only way you're going to be able to find out what it is you actually want to do.
That's spot on. At the end of the day, if you don't invest in you, how do you expect anybody else to? So you
Yep.
definitely need to invest in yourself. Get the training that's necessary. So invest yourself that way. Jermaine has certifications as a life coach. I have certifications as a life coach. Invest that's money. If you're working a job that you don't like, then I'm telling you, here's the wisdom: the money that you're making for that job from that job is actually designed to fund your dreams. And so if your dreams or your aspirations is to be a life coach,
Mhm.
budget yourself so that you can invest in those classes. So if you, let's say if you didn't do Starbucks for 5 days and maybe you do Starbucks for breakfast and you do Starbucks for lunch, well, that's $10. So if you stop doing that all week and just save that extra little $50, that's $50 a week. So it ends up with very easy. It's like $250 a month. That is money that you can actually invest right back into your training, into your development, again, because this is something that you want to do. So
That's it,
spot
man.
on, Jermaine.
If you inspire to be a life coach, get a life coach. Get a life coach and don't look for a free life coach. Invest in a life coach, right? Invest in a life coach that can help you. If you want to be a mechanic, get an internship somewhere, right? If the Jiffy Lube down the street is not hiring, sweep the floors for free, right? Just get around people that's doing what you love.
That's right.
Get around people that are doing the things that you love. Just start there. Start right there.
Man, I think that's spot on, man. So what's next for you, Jay?
Man, what's next for me is really I'm just learning this whole pivot, moving from schools to corporations. It's a change, but I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. Of course, there's so many downfalls and negatives to this whole shutdown and COVID thing. But what I have learned is I do enjoy just this. I love coaching from home, right? Like I said, we got 4 boys. We got 5 months, 1 year old, like being home right now is gold for me, it's gold for my wife. So she's
Absolutely.
not doing everything by herself.
Yeah.
In between Zoom calls, in between coaching calls, I can make a bottle, I can change a diaper, I can play with the boys. You know what I'm saying? I'm home. So it's crazy as it can be, just being home all the time, and you're going and we don't want to, or whatever the case may be. This has been a huge blessing for
Right.
me, and what I've learned is I absolutely love coaching from home. I love being on my computer. I love coaching people, whether it's a Zoom call, this kind of platform, whether I'm on the phone, emails. I enjoy this setup, so really just getting better at this setup, getting much better at this setup, and then moving into recording a lot more. I want to record a lot more. I want to get a lot more of my coaching packages recorded, so then I have online courses on how to deal with anxiety, on how to deal with stress. We talked about the 4-step thinking sequence. We're kind of packaging that in an online course, so where if you can't afford the full month of coaching, whatever that package looks like, there's an online course that then I'll make very affordable for really anyone. So those kind of things, really just getting better at this craft. Like I said, it was 5 years that I focused on building excellence within the schools, and that all kind of just shifted. So I'm taking a lot of what I learned at that time to really excel and build this online platform, this online community. So yeah, man, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting ready to start. I'm getting ready to start going live on Monday. So starting a group every Monday. Every Monday, actually, I stole this. What I'm calling it, I actually stole from my pastor, Pastor Dan. He was on before. I actually think you may have even preached on this series back in the day, but he did a series a while back called Made for Mondays.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a good
I
series.
just like that quote, that saying, "Made for Mondays," because I'm a huge believer, man. If you live for Friday, so you can leave work and party, and you dread Sunday night because you hate Mondays, you're in a bad place.
Yeah,
you're in a bad place. If you love Fridays and hate Sunday nights, you're in a bad place.
yeah.
I really want to just encourage people to find the joy in Monday. Like Monday is the start of the week. Monday is the day that you go out and you set the bar as high as you can on Monday, and you spend the rest of the week jumping over the bar. Like that's what Monday is about. So I really want to. I'm starting in October, Made for Monday. So every Monday, I'll be live on Facebook. It's a group. You can just request a group. It's going to be called Made for Mondays, and it's just going to be full of motivational video. I'll drop every Monday, and then every day I'll just be posting motivational quotes and sayings and things like that. Just a place for people to go and be encouraged.
I think that's dope, man. I actually have I'm gonna send you. Well, you can download it. There's a song by Janet Jackson, your sister, Doc. No, she had a really cool song that came out in 2018, and so your if you're gonna do the Made for Mondays thing on Mondays, she has a song called Made for Now.
Okay.
Dog, it's such a great song, and it's upbeat. It's real. It's upbeat, so it can bring some really good energy to your intro. It's called Made for Now, dude. Look it up. I'm telling you, it'll complement everything you're doing. That could be your theme joint. I'm telling you, it's great. So yeah,
I'm gonna look it up. Then I'm gonna reach out to you to help me put the intro together.
one and done. One and done, sir. Just say the word. It's done.
All right.
Ashley, what's up? Your wife is on.
I'll probably she jumped on. Oh, I see her.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. You guys are really dope people. I mean, since we've met, I've always loved you guys' energy, and I love what you guys bring to any situation, man. So, I mean, hats off to you, man. Congratulations on all the things that you're doing. Congratulations on all the success that you're achieving. And man, I'm praying for all the doors that you want to open for you. They open this year. So, yeah, man, I'm so excited for you, man. You're a dope soul, man. How's your pops doing?
Oh, he's good, man. He's doing great, man. We just did his employee appreciation dinner this last weekend. Him and my mom are doing great. So, awesome. Man, they are good.
That's what's up, man. Please tell him I said what's up. Yeah. And bro, I appreciate you. Thank you so much again for taking time to be a part of this podcast. This is our life coaching series, and I'm so excited to have my brother from a different mother who's been here with us this whole time, Jermaine Jackson. And he's amazing. Please check out his website. It's called developnow.com. Find out more information about what his organization is doing. They're doing a lot of great things with students, with teachers, but also in the corporate faculty factor. I mean, in the corporate sector as well. So if you
Mhm.
have a business, you have an organization, if you're the human resource director, you need to connect with Jermaine Jackson. I'm telling you, he got some information, some insight that can help you guys in a lot of different areas as it relates to conflict resolution, and I mean just a whole plethora of things that he does. So please check out his website, and that way you can get connected. And guess what? He can do it from his living room. He don't have to come to your
I
office.
can. Yep, 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 yep.
Yeah, he got his stuff set up. He can do it right from the house. So if you can get your team on a Zoom call, he can light them up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
So,
brother, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the
I do
time. I
too.
appreciate
I do, man. This was good. I appreciate you. Had a great time. Again, your show is amazing. I'm just an honor that you even invited me to be on. So it was good stuff today, brother.
it. I believe in you, brother. I appreciate you too, man. Take care.
All right, you too.
All right, man. And that was Jermaine Jackson. He's bomb.com. So please go to his website. It's strolling at the bottom of the screen. I'm following it. It's developnow.com. You can find out more information about Jermaine's organization and what he does. He's a great brother. He's clear. And this show is called Moments of Clarity for that very reason. I love having people on the show that are clear in their processes, clear in what they do. And he's one of those guys. He's an amazing life coach. And so for those of you that may need a life coach, man, hit Jermaine up. He's a really dope soul, and he can help with managing so many other things. So you have challenging, maybe like my kids are getting on my nerves. I'm trying to figure this out. He can help you, but he can also help you help your kids as well. Okay. So until next week, I want to thank you guys so much for the time. Stay positive, stay creative. I am going to do a Moments of Clarity on this Thursday as well. So stay tuned. We're going to do a Moments of Clarity on Thursday. I'm going to check in with some of my friends, and we're going to be talking about some things that's going on in the world today. So definitely continue to follow me. We're going to go live on Thursday as well, same time. Until next week, I want you guys to stay positive. It is a choice. You have an opportunity every moment. Every moment that we get, there's a spiritual principle at stake. So you can you have an option to either be positive or negative. You're either going to be better or you're going to be bitter. Either way, you make these choices in real time. So I want you to be intentional about making choices to be positive, being intentional about making choices to be inspirational. That's what we're here to be. We're here to change the world. We do that one person at a time. So I want to encourage you to do that and be that all the time. All right. So until next week, stay positive, stay creative, and most importantly, you got it. Stay clear. We'll see you on Thursday.